Hi, my name is Sophia Poravecchio, and this is my original contribution for my capstone course at American College of Education. The agenda for today is we are going to start by having a memory lane reflection. We're going to discuss the difference between growth and fixed mindset, cultural responsive teaching and science. We're going to talk about how growth mindset and culture meet, strategies that you can incorporate into your classroom, and we're going to end on some final thoughts. Our objectives is to understand the key elements of a growth mindset and culturally responsive teaching, applying integrated strategies to the middle school science setting, and reflect on current practices and identify student needs. So, starting out with a memory lane reflection. Before we get going on this entire presentation, I want to take a moment to think back to your own experience as a student. Can you recall a time when you faced a significant challenge in school? What grade were you in? What made the situation difficult? Was the challenge academic, social, emotional, or something else? And what helped you persevere and move forward? All right, starting off, what is a growth mindset? So Limry et al. Describes growth mindset as intelligence is a changeable trait that can improve with effort and guidance. This research is going to highlight a core principle of the growth mindset. So students are not born with a fixed amount of intelligence. Instead, their abilities, especially in a complex subject like science, can develop over time. Now, this is going to be needed with things like purposeful effort, meaningful feedback, and a supportive learning environment. Now, with this growth mindset, there can be implications for our classrooms. So how we talk about mistakes and struggles is going to shape students' beliefs about their potential. Teacher encouragement, especially when it's tied to strategies and efforts, not only just about students' innate ability, can help students be able to persist through these challenges. And we must be intentional about providing both challenge and support, especially for students from historically unrepresented backgrounds. Now, some tips to be able to reinforce this during things like labs, assessments, or even group work. You can use your phrasing matters. So using phrases such as, "You haven't mastered this yet," or "Let's look at some strategies that we can do to be able to help you," or "What part of this challenge taught you something new?" So focusing more on the positive side of what you can do, what you will achieve. Now on the other side, we have a fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset, according to Limry, intelligence is a stable and unchangeable trait. Now, a fixed mindset suggests that students are either good at science or they're not. And there's little that they or we can do to be able to change that. Now, one of the most important things for this is we need to shift the narrative. So our job as educators is to disrupt this mindset by showing that ability in science is not fixed, but rather it's developed over time and with practice. So culturally responsive practices are going to be able to help students see themselves as capable scientists. Now, we can do this by validating diverse ways of thinking and problem solving, connecting science learning to students' lived experiences, and even normalizing that struggle is a part of the learning process. Now, comparing the growth mindset to the fixed mindset, we're going to start talking about some characteristics. So some characteristics for growth mindset. These are students that embrace challenges. They have perseverance, good work ethic. They learn from mistakes. They take constructive feedback and they use it to be able to do better. On the other side, for a fixed mindset, some characteristics include these are students that often avoid challenging tasks. They view mistakes as failure and they give up when things start to get more challenging. So how we talk about mistakes and struggles shapes students' beliefs about what their potential is. Now, when teachers focus on their encouragement, on effort, and the strategy students are using, it helps kids to be able to stick with things, especially when it starts to get tough. We have to be thoughtful about balancing challenge and support, especially for students from historically unrepresented backgrounds. On the other side, we really need to stay mindful of unintentional biases in the classroom. According to Bowler, teachers may unintentionally reinforce this belief on accident by praising speed over natural talent, or praising speed or natural talent over the effort and persistence. We want to focus more specifically on their effort and not giving up. When we group students by perceived ability without opportunities for growth, and also when we're overlooking the role of language and culture and experience in shaping how students approach learning. So we might be accidentally or unintentionally signaling to students that their abilities are not going to change, that they're static. This can lead to disengagement and it could result in students giving up. As educators, we need to make sure that we're promoting a growth mindset where effort and learning from mistakes are valued and all students are given opportunities to succeed regardless of their ability level. Why it matters in science. Letting students experience and learn from failed experiments is going to help them to be able to think more deeply, build resilience, and a better understanding of how science really works. Now, failure is a part of the learning process. In science, things don't always go as planned, and that's a good thing. Students need to be able to learn, or students learn a lot when an experiment doesn't work the first time. Hypothesis testing requires trial and error. So students must feel safe making predictions and adjusting those predictions based on the evidence, just like real scientists would do. Science can get tricky and it's complex. Topics build on each other and often involve abstract thinking. Students need to know that it's okay to not get it right away and to keep working through it. A growth mindset encourages scientific thinking. When we focus on the effort, strategy, and the learning, not just the correct answers, students become more curious and more confident. Real-world science is typically not going to be linear. You never know what direction an experiment might take you or when you will discover something new. Helping students to be able to embrace the messiness of learning prepares them for real STEM experiences beyond the classroom. What is culturally responsive teaching? So according to Gay, it incorporates the cultural awareness, past experiences, and learning styles of students who come from varying backgrounds to make learning more relevant and impactful. A teaching approach that honors students' cultural backgrounds. So when students see their backgrounds reflected in what they're learning, they feel heard, they feel valued, and motivated to succeed. Incorporating student identity, culture, and lived experiences. Culturally responsive teaching helps make sure that every student, no matter where they come from, has the opportunity to thrive in a science classroom. Promotes equity and opens the door in STEM for all students. Learning about science can be a much better experience when we tap into different ways of thinking. So students bring fresh insights when they feel supported and understood. This is going to encourage diverse ways of thinking and problem solving. So science benefits from many different perspectives. Students bring unique insights, which helps them to feel seen and supported. Lastly, builds relationships and trust. When students feel respected and understood, they feel safer being able to take risks and are much more willing to be able to be engaged. Culturally responsive teaching in science. Using real-world examples and scientific phenomena that relates to students' lives and cultures, this is going to encourage students to connect what they're learning to local environmental issues, cultural practices, or even everyday experiences. Providing opportunities for students to share personal stories and experiences that relate to scientific concepts. Students love being able to have an opportunity to share about themselves, so making sure that that is always a concept to be able to talk about in class. One of my favorite things to do is to introduce students to scientists from diverse backgrounds and cultures. It really helps to highlight achievements from scientists who share similar cultural or personal experiences as students. It makes science feel a lot more real and relatable. Next, we're going to talk about some classroom strategies. Sometimes just a few small changes in how we talk, what we teach, or how we connect with students can make a big difference. From the way we give feedback to the kinds of projects we explore, these strategies help build confidence and spark curiosity and create a sense of belonging in the classroom. Strategy number 1, language shifts. So watch how you word things. Swapping praise like, "You're so smart," for things like, "You worked really hard on this," to emphasize more of the effort over the fixed ability. Highlight persistence and problem solving to be able to build growth, a growth mindset. This can be especially impactful for English language learners, and normalizing that struggle is a part of learning. Talk about the process. Let students know that struggling is a part of learning. It's not a sign of failure. Strategy number 2, student-led science. Give students a chance to explore science through projects that connect to their own communities. So some examples could include looking into testing local water quality, investigating neighborhood air pollution. This is going to help students see why it matters. It gets them curious and makes them feel like their learning really belongs to them. Strategy number 3, reflection opportunities. So encourage students to think like scientists by reflecting on their learning process and identity. This is going to help to build confidence and self-awareness, and it's going to build resistance. Some final thoughts. Empowering students through science. When students see themselves as capable scientists, they are more likely to take risks, ask questions, and stay curious. Connecting science to students' lives and communities makes learning feel real and relevant. Encouragement, inclusion, and high expectations help students build confidence, resilience, and a love of learning that lasts beyond just the classroom. Why this matters now. Today's classrooms are more diverse than ever. Students bring a wide range of experiences, cultures, and learning needs. Equity in STEM education helps close the opportunity gaps and builds a stronger and more inclusive future. And a growth mindset, and culturally responsive teaching are powerful tools to increase engagement and achievement for all learners. Thank you so much for listening today, and these are my references. Thank you.